While the Philadelphia Eagles were able to beat the Baltimore Ravens and prove that they are probably they are the best team in the NFL right now, definitely the hottest, it comes at a cost. And there's something that I think Eagles fans in the front office need to start thinking about right now before it comes to bite them in the butt next year. Also, I want to talk about Nick Sirianni and the small elite company that he just joined yesterday. And lastly, I want to talk about it's Saquon Barkley. I want to talk about Saquon and how it feels like the NFL is just trying to play him out of the MVP. And we gonna talk about it. So let's get into it.
You want Philly food?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is another episode of Philly the podcast. So, like I said, man, I want to talk about this team. I feel like yesterday they showed who they are. They really showed that they can go out there and they can beat any team, even when they're struggling offensively. This defense can carry them. We've seen this offense carry this defense before, so it is what it is. We're finally a full team. The rookies went out there, did their thing. A couple other young players did their thing. Offensively, we did enough. Big plays from Saquon Barkley, big plays from Jalen Hurts. And look, it wasn't the prettiest of wins, but it was a win all the same. So we're going to talk about all that. Now, before we get into that, if you would do me a big favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. I'm trying to make it to 10K. I want to make it to 10K before the end of the year. That would be a huge accomplishment for me and for all of us, because a lot of you guys have been with me since the beginning. So if you could hit that subscribe, hit that like, share it with a friend, it would mean the world to me. But let's start with Nick, all right? I want to start with Nick Sirianni, because I hear, and I've been one to kind of poo-poo on Nick Sirianni every now and then, but I will say this past year I have kind of opened my eyes to what I feel he does for this offense and for this team in general. He obviously has become like that CEO coach who kind of just oversees everything, makes sure everything's going right. And one thing I will say, when you're winning, it's a lot easier, right? It's a lot better. Everybody looks better. Everything smells better. Everything tastes better. Everything feels better. So we are winning. If we start losing, I know we'll start bringing this conversation up again with Nick Sirianni, but I love what he brings to this team. I truly do believe that when you have the right coordinators in place, which is something we're going to have to continuously do with a Nick Sirianni, but I feel like he can hire good play callers on the offense and defense. He's done it now twice, right? We went to the Super Bowl with his first hires, and now we're looking like a Super Bowl team again with his new hires. So we'll see what happens, obviously, there, but Nick Sirianni has this team locked in. He really does. He's part of the team, and that's something that I don't think people give him credit for, but he's also made some great calls. He's a good coach. He is. And at the end of the day, man, you do not do what he's done by being a bad coach. Don't get me wrong. We have talent on this team. We've had talent on this team. Talent is not everything, and it's a big part of it. Don't get me wrong. Can't win in this league without talent, but you also can't win in this league without a head coach putting you in good position. So what did he join? He joined a pretty small list of 7 other coaches who have went 10-2 or better for at least 3 straight seasons so this is the first time in franchise history for the Eagles, but he joins the list of Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, Tony Dungy, Mike Shanahan, Mike Ditka, John Madden, Curly Lambeau. Those are some pretty good coaches. Luck can happen every now and then, right? But you don't luck your way into history like that. So I just want to say, I think Nick Sirianni is doing a great job. I want to continue to see him grow, and I think that that's what we've seen already. We've seen him kind of grow from the guy we hired to the guy he is now. He made some decisions in that game that I really liked. I really appreciated that he didn't go for the 2 points and just took that extra point, made it a 9-point game, made it a little bit more frustrating. You don't get that 2-point conversion, you give the Ravens life. They think that they might have a chance. They're only down by 1 possession. I understand a lot of Eagles fans probably wanted to go for it, but if he doesn't get it, we're calling him an idiot. We're calling him this, that, and the third. So I'm glad that he learns from his own mistakes. He understands, let me take the points. Let me just keep going. Justin Tucker's having a tough game. 2 possession game should give you enough cushion, which it did. Obviously, we were able to score again. So The Eagles have done what they needed to do. Nick Sirianni is a big part of that. He's a big part of that engine, in my opinion. He's a conductor. He really is. I mean, we talk about Jalen Hurts not being emotional enough or whatever you want to say, or loud enough, talks to not enough, whatever you want to say. But you look at Nick Sirianni, and I think they balance each other out very well. I think you look at that for friendship. You look at that in relationships and business, everything. You want people that balance you out. You don't want somebody that's exactly like you, because you need somebody to give you that different perspective. I think that Nick Sirianni is great at that. So I'm good. I like Nick Sirianni a lot. I really, really do. And that's what I'm going to say there. Now, next I want to talk about Saquon Barkley. I feel like this is an every video thing, but this kind of got me upset, and I won't spend too much time on it, but I do want to know what people think out there. Saquon Barkley, to me, is the MVP. To me, he's the runaway MVP. I think winning that game, having the better stats than Derrick Henry, on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record, on pace, well, already, broke all his career highs. So you look at Saquon Barkley, I feel like he's the MVP. I just do. You look at the Eagles team, it runs off, literally and figuratively, no pun intended, runs off of Saquon Barkley. And that's no knock on A.J. Brown. That's no knock on Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith. We have great players other places, and that's why we're such a great team. But having Saquon Barkley allows everything else to run so much smoother. You saw it, the RPOs, everything just runs smoother when you have Saquon Barkley in the backfield. It allows us to be such a more open offense and allows us to take time of possession, which I wasn't happy with against the Ravens. But that's something that going into the playoffs, we're going to have to really key in on, is we're going to have to hold this ball on offense. They did it at the end of the game, was able to basically salt the game away. It's a very, very underrated strength of the Eagles to be able to just utilize Saquon Barkley as however they want to. So the reason why I'm saying this is now, per all betting apps, it seems that Josh Allen, after his win yesterday against the 49ers, who have literally nobody on their team left, it feels like all their guys are injured, he's the runaway MVP, Josh Allen. He's the guy that should get and I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. I understand he doesn't have the weapons he's had before. He doesn't have Stephon Diggs. That's about it, right? Keon Coleman's decent. You know, you got some running backs. He doesn't have the best of offenses. Don't get me wrong. His defense isn't what it used to be, but they're still decent. I just don't see. I really don't. I don't watch every Josh Allen game, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's trash. He's a good player. You know, talk to me. Talk to me, and please, in the comments, let me know why Josh Allen should be MVP over Saquon, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Maybe I'm being biased. I just truly don't see it. So you guys let me know in the comments. Now, last thing I want to talk about, and before we get into the last thing, look, if you got this far, please just do a favor for me. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Last thing I want to talk about is these players, man, and I really feel like it was awesome to see them all go out there and ball out, but everybody's balling out, especially on this defense, right? You're going to have to re-sign Zach Baun. You're going to have to re-sign Milton Williams. I think Jordan Davis is coming up. I think, who else? Who else is coming? Nolan's not too far off. Jalen Carter's not too far off. What are you going to do with Isaiah Rodgers? You know, there's so many questions as far as who are you going to re-sign? These guys are going to get some money, man. They're going to get some money. So Josh Sweat, another guy, these guys are going to get some money. So my hope is that they just want to stay Philadelphia Eagles and you know, they give us a good discount. But my realistic thought and my approach to this would be go and get Milton Williams done. I think Milton Williams and Zach Baun Milton Williams and Mechi Becton. I forgot about him too. Milton Williams and Mechi Becton are probably your two biggest priorities. Outside of Milton Williams, you really only have Jordan Davis. You really only have Jalen Carter, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Moro Jamo's been showing a little bit more. Maybe you trust Thomas Booker in more of a expanded role. Maybe there's another guy down the line that they're really looking at. But I think that you want to continue, I should say, with this Eagles organization, invest in the lines. And you invested in the offensive line, you invested in the defensive line, and that's why you've been so competitive over this whole Jeffrey Lurie period. So I think that that's what you do now. I think start with Milton Williams, talk to Milton Williams before he starts getting sniffs of what he might get on the open market, because I think that defensive tackles will get way more money than a linebacker will in today's economy, for the NFL at least. So if you can get him before he really starts seeing, I might be able to get a little bag. You might get a good deal for him. Howie Roseman is amazing at that. Zach Baun, same thing. You might be able to say, listen, how do we keep you for 2-3 years, 3-4 years maybe, and get that done early. So I have full faith that Howie Roseman's going to re-sign the guys that we need. And honestly, more that I look at the salary cap, I believe we're around $30-something million next year. Right now, we have $10 million this year. So if that rolls over, you're looking around 40 plus. There's some guys that you can restructure, you can extend, bring that number even higher. So there's a lot of things you can do. The Eagles are in good situation. And obviously, the draft is right around the corner, right? So the draft, you're going to be able to fill some holes that you didn't in free agency or via your own free agents. And one last thing I'll say is, look, if we're able to re-sign most of our players or all of our players, I'm kind of good standing pat unless there's a guy out there that you're just like, I got to have him on the team, maybe a safety or something like that. But I'm cool with what we have. I feel like we're a very young team. We're only going to get better. You're most likely going to be able to retain a guy like Vic Fangio. So you're going to have these guys growing in your system for a while. Offensively, I think you can pick and choose who you want to go with. I think Mechi Becton is really the only guy that you're sitting there saying we have to give him the money. Dallas Goedert's coming up, but I think you replace him before you re-sign him. We'll see what happens. That's, I guess, a conversation for a whole nother time. But you guys let me know what you're thinking in the comments. Just about everything, about the Josh Allen situation, about, who you want to re-sign first, how do you think it should go, and just this team in general, man. Nick Sirianni is doing his thing, man. These flowers are looking good, and I'm happy. I'm excited. I think we really got something here, guys. I really, really do. I know that sometimes the titles be a little clickbaity, but I'm hyped. I think this is a Super Bowl team, and let's get it. I mean, that's really all I can say. So y'all let me know what y'all thinking in the comments. Other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly. We are out here. Peace!
Everywhere. This is for you.
Fly Eagles flying.